All right, guys. Okay, so avatars. Sorry about that. I'm talking about avatars today. Um, I'm not sure if the other one's still going live. I can't. It's really. I did it on my computer for the first time, and it's not really worked very well. So bear with me. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to talk about avatars. I'm just going to invite Riley to know he's online quickly. Has anyone got anything to do? Does anyone know anything about avatars? Have you got an avatar yourself? Have you built one up because you need one? Because if you're training people, you want your perfect customer, you want your ideal customer. One, because when you start training people, you're going to spend probably more time with them than you will your friends, and they're going to they're going to see you a lot more than actually they'll see their friends as well. So you want to make sure that you're a good fit. So when you're picking your avatar, whether it's for the fitness industry, whatever business you're in, you want to work with people that you enjoy. You want to work with people that you like talking to, you got a similar interest, you can have a good conversation. You know, my clients been with, some of them have been with me for 7 to 9 years. And, you know, we have great chats, we talk all the time, and I know everything about their life, they know a lot about mine. So, you know, you want to be able to choose your avatar and have that person or that ideal client that you want to spend a lot of time with. Because if you don't, you're going to walk in and you might have energy vampires. So if you've not heard that term before, you come in, there's always that one person that you dread actually seeing. You know, it sounds bad, but you know, you go to the session, you're kind of like, man, all right, come on. They may be really negative. They might not be in the same interest as you. Might be someone who's maybe, you know, just not the sort of person you want to train. So with avatars, now it's going to sound really bad, but with your avatar, to create your avatar, you have to be pretty stereotypical. The more stereotypical, the better. Now, I was going to do this on a whiteboard, but we'll just do it here. Excuse me. With your being stereotypical, what I mean is, you know, you need to pigeonhole them as much as possible. So, for instance, if you live in a certain area and say, okay, well, we'll use one of my, say, one of my old places that I used to work in. Okay, that area, it wasn't too well off. So I knew, you know, the people that I was targeting, you know, maybe didn't have as much money, so my prices weren't as high as maybe what it could have been. I put different offerings on, so decided what sort of my ideal offering was for them. And then I started to narrow down even more. So I ended up training quite a lot of younger guys, maybe just a few years older than me. I knew what they wanted. They wanted to gain muscle. You know, a lot of them were like, they do party pretty hard. You know, I was doing quite a bit of that during that time. So we had a lot to talk about, stuff in common, football. But a lot of those people that I spoke to, I talked in my marketing their language. So, for instance, I knew that my clients, you know, back then might have been watching Sopranos. I know that my clients might have they watched the football on the weekend. I know that they probably went out on the weekend. I probably know where they partied on the weekend. I know whereabouts in town they went to, what clothes they like, what cars they drive. They all like to drive like Audis. You know, these are all different types of things that, although it sounds really funny, you can pigeonhole them and put them into this bucket of an audience that you can market to. Because essentially, when you get your avatar, what you're going to do with that is you're going to market to them. So you want to be able to market to people that want, you know, this what you're offering. So, for instance, a good example would be if I am marketing, say, to someone now who is maybe 20 to 30, say female, lives in New Zealand. Okay, she probably knows about Love Island. She probably watches Love Island. So that's, you know, if you're doing a Facebook ad, you put, you know, you could have people who like Love Island. You probably know that they maybe like Clinique, Tights, Lululemon. You may watch a certain other TV shows, you know, maybe it's not really my target market. You know, maybe if you're a mobile trainer or online trainer, you might want to target the more affluent areas. If you're wherever you're targeting, you want to really narrow it down as much as possible, because the more stereotypical you can be, the better. Because it makes, when you're writing an ad, if I'm writing an ad for, like I talked about yesterday, if I'm writing an ad for a 50-year-old, compared to a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, is a lot different. I probably wouldn't say, yes, right, all right, lads, right, do you want to get massive? Do you want to get the gains, make a bit of a joke about it? That might be to a 30-year-old, 20-year-old, but to someone who's older, I would change the language, I'd change the wording I'd use. So creating your avatars is so important. So what I want you to do, this is kind of a little exercise that you can do, is with your avatar, what I want you to try and do is I want you to, first off, male or female. Okay, is it male or female? It could be both. If it's, yeah, you like training both male and female, have two separate buckets, two ones. So you'll have a male and a female. Okay, what's the age bracket? Ideally, you want the age bracket 10 years. From someone who's 20 to 30, a lot of things change. Someone from 30 maybe to 40, a lot of things change. So you want to try and bring that age bracket down as much as possible. Because when you're talking to them, it's a lot easier. Hey, 35-year-old males in Auckland, you would have seen these ads probably yourself. You're calling a particular person out. So when they see it, they're going to be, that's me. Yeah, I know that guy. That's me. That's what I want. That's, this ad is talking to me. This blog post is talking to me. This video is talking to me. You can't really please everyone. I've tried to do it, and it's not always. It's actually really hard to get traction. Hey, how we doing, bro? So yeah, if you're depending, like I said, the avatar is so important. Pick the people that you want to work with. So your avatar, male, female, age group. For instance, someone's online. Hey, Cruz, how we doing, bro? He's into cars. So, if I'm targeting someone who's into cars, what cars do they drive? What type of cars do they like? Is it new cars? Is it old cars? In the gym, what magazines do they like? Do they read? Are you targeting an older demographic? Is it, Women's Day, or is it Men's Health magazine? If you're writing a blog post or doing a video for social media, are you referencing, a BMW, old BMW? Are you referencing, a Muscle Mag, or are you referencing, the 6 o'clock news, or are you referencing like, another National Geographic? These are all things that come into your message and your marketing, especially on social media, because you're having like a one-way conversation, because you're not getting the replies back instantly from them. So you need to make sure that when you're talking to them, you're talking exactly to that person. So we've got name, we've got age, we've got gender. Okay, then you sort of break down. Okay, what sort of stuff did he like, likes, dislikes? You might sort of talking about things that he like. You might like sports. It was male, 35, male, likes sports, really into his rugby. Okay, we're targeting people, talking about people in Auckland potentially. That's what we want to aim. Okay, the Blues, maybe the Warriors, the league. Okay, we may reference that in our blog posts. 5 tips you can get from the Warriors. 5 tips the Warriors need. 5 things I would do if I was training the Warriors. That will get someone to read your blog post if they're into the Warriors. And if you're targeting the right people, it's going to make a big difference. You're talking to that audience. Lots and lots of likes and dislikes. The more you can do it, the better. Even it sounds bad, race. You've got to you would definitely. Everyone does it. It's not. If your marketing is, you kind of have to do it, because if you put a picture up and don't see you in that photo, then you're not going to think it's for you. And that's kind of what people do, and that's kind of what you need to do. So you might have likes, dislikes, race, gender, age. Then you come on to things like magazines. Like I said, what sort of magazines, what type of videos did you watch? If they're older, and you're targeting like a 40 to 50-year-old, maybe you're that age as well, you might end up doing like a bit of an inside joke. So you might start talking about something that only someone around about that age group would know about. So for instance, my one could be, for instance, talking about Oasis. I'm talking males in Auckland from the UK, so expats in the UK around 35, 34. I might put an Oasis thing in there. These are sort of things. 5 things Liam would have done if he lived in New Zealand, fitness-wise. These are little things that might perk someone's interest up. And by putting all these little things in there, that makes it so much more targeted. you're going to get more people following you, more people liking your posts, more people interacting with you, starting conversations. So, it's all about social media this week. And creating an avatar is so that you can build a client base, but also what to put in your social media, because just putting stuff up for everyone doesn't work. And I've tried it. Trust me, I've done it for a long time, and it doesn't work because you kind of sit back a little bit, you bite back a little bit. Maybe you might put, if you're talking to your lads, you put something different in. When you might be talking to maybe your clients, you might put something else in. And I've gone through lots of different periods of training different groups of people. And probably my favorite is my best time at one point was when I was training a lot of guys sort of similar age to me, not too far, and literally going to work was just catching up with mates. I'd help them train, obviously, I'd push them, do everything we needed to do, but it was, we're just catching up a lot of the time in between, and it was great because they were getting what they wanted. And I was going to work knowing that I'm training my ideal client. And that's the same in the gym environment now. I'm doing the same, but you have to have that avatar to do it. You have to have that avatar. You might call the avatar Jack, one Jane or Jill, whatever you want to do. And then you start breaking it down as much detail as I've said, films, video, films, things they drink, clothes they wear, shoes they wear, different people wear different clothes. If someone is into Lululemon and into Clinique, tight, they're probably into fitness and into doing that sort of stuff, into being healthy. Where did he shop? Did he shop at, say, Faro? Did he shop at Pack and Save? I'm not saying either or, I shop at both, but you can, if you want to, I was in Grey Lynn, I could target people and maybe shop at Faro or like the Faro page. These are all things that come into like Facebook ads, but these are all things that really make a difference and make your money, if you do Facebook ads and you put money into it, go a lot further. But it also means you can talk when you do your organic posts, you're talking to the right people you're more likely to get likes, you're more likely to get shares and start a conversation. Okay, Riley, have you got any questions or anyone else got any questions? One of the other things, let me think what else we've got on there. Okay, we're obviously talking about fitness because we're all PTs here. But think about some of the things outside of the fitness industry that you might go and look at. So, like I talked about then, Oasis, might be holidays, people have gone on holiday. It could be, people who are from a different country who live here. You might be a trainer who English is his second language. So you might want to target people who aren't English, haven't got English as a first language. So you might change that up. You might write your post in a different language. You might do like bilingual posts. That's something that can really, really intrigue people. But getting your avatar, getting it set out and laid. So every time you go to write something, every time you go to do a post, it's not easy. I'm guilty of not doing it, but you've got to be able to do it. Look at that post, look at it and say, okay, am I talking to this person? Because when they read it, they want to see it and they actually want to think that this person is them. So when they read it, they want to actually look at it and think that that person is them and that you're talking directly to them, because you'll get more interaction, you'll get a lot more traction, more people liking and following you, and like I said, wanting to do business with you. All right, guys, I think I've talked about it quite a lot. I'll try and put a worksheet together and maybe get it put in the group files. I've got a bit of time on the weekend to try and do something like that. But if you do have any questions, let me know. But that's it. That's you need to, yeah, mate. So it's really hard. So Riley's just put about, it's guilty, just got punching air. I did it for a long time, and I'm talking a long, long time. And I've done so many courses where they've done maybe 2, 3 modules on just building your avatar. And I always used to think, you know what? I've trained so many different people. It doesn't really make sense. I always train lots of different people, so it doesn't make sense. But it does. It makes a lot of sense. And the sooner you do it, the clearer your message is, the easier it is for you to do things like I'm doing now. If I was doing this on my coach page, You know, I've got people on there who are, you know, like my page because I've trained them in the past, like my page because the family, you know. Whereas in here, I know who I'm talking to. I know you're all trainers. I know you all want to be trainers, or you've been trainers for a long time, and I'm trying to help you. So my message is very clear, and it makes it a lot easier to come up with content. It also makes it a lot easier to talk. You know, we're going for 15 minutes now. I could talk all day, but it really does make a big difference. So take time, sit down, go over it, and really just try and nail down exactly who you want to work with. You're not always going to have all the clients, and they might not always be, you know, exactly what you're doing. You know, I'm not saying that any of my clients that I've trained, I've never not liked any of them, love them all been like family over time. But, you know, there is some that you go in and you're just like, oh, I remember going in on a certain night and I'd be like, oh, I've got these like 4 people, awesome, boom, easy, go in, you know, oh, cool, you know. So it keeps your energy up, and it really does help, like I said, your marketing message as well. All right, guys, that's me. Any more questions, anything, let me know. Be stereotypical. We're taught not to, but when it comes to marketing and finding your voice, they're the people you want to talk to. Yeah, there's all sorts out there. I'll leave you with something a little bit funny. There was something on there, the English TV, and it was about a sneeze fetish. So a woman gets paid to sneeze. So on some site, I'm not sure, I didn't mention the site, but she's got like a little thing that she puts down there, like down. I think it was up her nose. And it's a little like duct up here that makes her sneeze. And if she can sneeze like 10 times in a minute or something, and she's making a living off sneezing. She's found her niche. Her avatar is people who like watching people sneeze. You know, each their own, but this, you know, so you can really go deep on this, and the more and more you train people, the deeper you'll go, and you may even change. I've changed several times, but that's the beauty of the industry. You can change who you work with and who you want to work with all the time. All right, guys, thanks for that, and yeah, any questions, let me know. Cheers.